Okay. Whew, this has turned out to be a longer video than I had planned. The answer was yes about I will be okay if I do get the vaccine. And then I asked, I remember I want to travel, right? I want to travel internationally. I want to go all over the world. There's lots of places I want to see before I die. So I said, will I maybe have to get the vaccine eventually for reasons like travel and stuff, i.e. a specific country is like, you're not allowed in without the vaccine. Okay. Answer was yes. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to get COVID and I don't have to get the vaccine if I don't want to. But I will be okay if I get it, as in I'm not going to turn into a Trump supporter. I'm not going to fucking grow a third eye. I'm not going to like shrivel up and die. I'm not going to like, suddenly like, have some crazy, my brain's going to explode or something, or develop cancer or whatever. And I might need the vaccine to travel in the future. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just get it before I go on this trip, because then at least I have an extra layer of protection against getting sick. So I look into it online and I'm trying to find out like, where can you go get the vaccine? And this was like March, April. Their vaccine places were packed. There was a lot of wait. It was like weeks out. So I was like, can I get a vaccine appointment? Like, do I show up? Do I just say like, hey, I'm a massage therapist. I have to work with people and they're going to let me in? Like, cause they were screening and stuff at the time. Now anybody could get in anytime. So it's easy now, no wait. A lot less stressful now. So if you want to get the vaccine, it's a lot less stressful to go get it now. And there's several different kinds you can pick from. I got Pfizer because it only had a 3-week turnaround. But anyway, I was looking into it, and if I would have got the first shot, say within the next week or two, the second shot would be due 3 to 4 weeks later, which would be when I'd be in Costa Rica. So I wouldn't be able to get that second shot at the right time. So I was like, all right, I can't get it before I go. Maybe I'll get it after I get back. So we go to Costa Rica, everything's cool. We meet the people that we're going to be at the retreat with for a week. We're going to be meeting up with friends after this retreat. So we have plans to get COVID tests after the retreat's over so that we can make sure we don't have it before we go hang out with our friends. And we had it all figured out. We had our insurance policies. We were ready for worst case scenario. We get into this like shuttle van with like 8 or 9 other people. People are wearing masks. We're all kind of like, hey, are we going to be wearing these? Because we're all going to be together for the next like 7 days, like doing like sacred medicine work in the mountains at a retreat center. Are we seriously going to be like wearing masks the whole time? And all of us were kind of like, I'm cool with it if you're cool with it. So we all were just like, oh, thank God we're not going to be having to wear masks this whole time. So we kind of like didn't really talk about COVID very much. We all just kind of like said, okay, moving on. Now we're all together. Let's do this amazing thing that we're doing. So la-di-da-di-da. It gets towards the end of the retreat, and people got to get COVID tested to fly home. So what the people at the retreat center did to make it easy for everybody was they hired a company to come up and do rapid tests on everybody who wanted to for like $150. So it was a little bit more expensive to do it that way than to do it like at a clinic. But anyway, it was pretty, like, just so you guys know, like, it was just as easy to get a COVID test and book it and make it happen in Costa Rica as it was to do it here. This was really not that complicated, and I'm shocked that I was so uptight and scared about it and so worried about it. I'm proud of myself for being such a stickler and being on top of things and making sure I did everything and knew what was going on and had my ducks in a row. But like, I'm way less frightened about international travel now because I know that COVID tests are available. It's not that hard. But again, third world country would be different than in a populated, modernized place that's used to tourists. So anyway, the people in Costa Rica are ready for you and they know about COVID. So some people are getting COVID tests. They're getting the thing put up their nose, and John and I didn't have to get ours until a couple days later because, we wanted to wait until we got back. Anyway, so we didn't do the rapid test. We had tests scheduled for the following day, but other people got their tests done there at the retreat center. So we're seeing people get it done. We actually asked if we could get it done then to save time, but we would have had to like lie about the date to make it a day later, and we just wanted to know, we just wanted to know for our friends, but it wouldn't have helped us fly home because you have to get it within 3 days of your flight. But luckily these tests now, you get the results within the same day, and the rapid test, you get them in 15 minutes. So we had a little COVID scare, about 8 or 9 of us again, are sitting in a van, so we're sitting all close to each other and breathing the same air, and we're driving for 4 hours down this mountain back to the city where you can get on a plane. And a lot of us have exchanged information, and a lot of us have, you know, network with T-Mobile so we can text and stuff even though we're in Costa Rica. So somebody in our group of people at this event got a positive test, and she texted one of the women in our group. This woman happened to be a medical professional, an anesthesiologist. So this woman had been working with intubating COVID patients all through 2020 and had seen it and all of it and knew all about it. And she encouraged me to get the vaccine as well and gave me some reasons why I might want to get it. So she was another medical professional sharing her thoughts with me, and I, you know, took it to heart. Well, the girl who got the positive test goes, "Oh my God, I got a positive test. I'm freaking out." It's really stressful for her. She wasn't sure where she was going to go. She didn't have a backup plan. And I think she didn't even have like her money with her. Like she lost her wallet. I won't get into that. But she was freaked out. So my friend, the medical professional, said, go get another test. Sometimes the rapid tests have false positives. The girl's like, okay, I'll go get another test. But this, could you imagine you're in a foreign country, you've got your bags packed, you're trying to get on a plane, and you're like, oh shit, my test results are positive. I can't get on this plane. I have to reschedule this flight. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna go. I gotta talk about freaky. So she goes and gets another test. It comes back negative. And all of this was able to happen within the 4-hour drive that we had to get down the mountain. But during that 2.5-hour period that we all thought, shit, I might have COVID, because I hung out with her, I hugged her, I had a conversation with her for more than 10 minutes. We spent time chatting, even though we're not like making out, you know, or coughing in each other's face. We were close enough, you know, and we had chatted a bit, and I thought, oh my God, here's what was going on in my brain. I was like, oh my God, this is my worst nightmare coming true. I'm gonna have to cancel the rest of my trip. We're not gonna get to go hang out with our friends at the beach. We're gonna lose the money we spent on that Airbnb because it's within 24 hours, so they're not gonna give us our money back. So we're gonna lose all that money. We're gonna have to go quarantine in a hotel room for 2 fucking weeks or more and be sick. And I didn't bring my fucking laptop. I only have 1 book. I'm gonna be so bored. I'm gonna go nuts. What am I gonna do for 2 weeks? Like, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to buy a membership to the, you know, pay for stuff on the, oh my God, I was so pissed that I didn't bring my laptop. My partner brought his, but I didn't have mine, and he's a techie, so I knew he wasn't gonna share very much. He probably would have shared. I don't know. But 2 weeks in a hotel room with your partner, quarantining with 1 device that you can watch TV on, that's trouble right there. That could be trouble. So that COVID scare definitely ruffled my feathers. And there were people in the van that you could tell they were like, okay, right? Because not everybody had got their test results yet. Not everybody had gotten tested in that van. I asked the guy sitting next to me who had 2 young girls with him, I said, oh, did you guys get COVID tests before you came to how do you feel about this situation? He goes, well, we're all fully vaccinated, so. And I was like, oh, you feel a lot less worried. You're thinking, even if I did hug that girl or have a conversation with her for 20 minutes, probably didn't catch it. Because the thing is, the viral load has to be high enough in the infected person's body to shed, and your body has to be susceptible enough to get infected with it. So, all right. I made a decision in that moment. Oh, and we get the text, she got a negative result. She's okay. She's going to reschedule her flight. Oh, we're all like, oh, hallelujah. Some of us were like, praise Goddess. We were like, we knew it. We knew she'd be okay. But we all were feeling for her and were concerned, and we were all concerned for ourselves too. And when we found out that she was negative, we were like, ah. But you know what it made me think? It made me think, the second I get back to San Diego, I'm signing up and I'm getting that fucking vaccine. Because if I had it, I'd be a lot less freaking worried right now about contracting this illness and having it fuck up my entire trip. So, we go get our COVID test the next day. We still went and got our tests. Way back into all the way. I'm talking like an 8-inch rod deep into my throat, and I hadn't had one like that yet. And we were negative, so we had peace of mind going and hanging out with our friends. We could hug them and be close and snuggle in a hot tub and chill with our peeps and ride in the same car, you know, and if one of us had a cough, no one's like, and it was all good. And we came back and everything was fine. And on that flight home, I was like eating food the whole time. I had my mask around my chin. I didn't give a fuck. I was just so less concerned. I was like, if I get COVID now, whatever. Like, at least I'll be back in the US. But I just was less concerned because I wasn't thinking about all these things that I had coming up that I needed to be safer about. I was like, it's just me now, just me and John. Like, if we get sick on this plane, we'll deal with it when we get home. But at least we'll have our computers and books. Still didn't catch it on the plane ride home. Wore my mask when I wasn't eating or drinking, but I spent half the flight eating and drinking because I was so sick of being a mask. And when I got home, I got kind of depressed because I had to put a mask back on again all the time whenever I was anywhere in public and working. And when I was in Costa Rica, I really didn't have to wear it hardly at all. And that was just such a nice change of pace. So I signed up and got the vaccine, had to wait in line, you know, to get my first shot, but I was able to register for an appointment right away. I was still in tier 1, so I was eligible. They didn't even check my ID or like check my massage credentials. They just, you know, if you had an appointment, they let you in. Got the first shot, really sore in the arm for sure. But then second shot took me out for a good 24 hours. You know, I had flu-like symptoms, like a lot of body aches and stuff. But I was like, all right, I got it now. Fuck it, here I am. And truth be told, when I had a date with my person of color boyfriend that I mentioned earlier in the video, I saw him. I hadn't seen him in a while, like a few weeks, because of my Costa Rica travel plans and because of we had just moved to a new apartment. So I had just not been available for like a month. And we hung out and we got together and we chatted for a while. We were just talking and he was just really happy to see me. And I said, I got the vaccine. And he was like, that's okay. Which was the right answer, Cooper. Thank you for being sweet. But like, I felt like a sellout. I actually felt like, man, I broke down and got the vaccine. Like I felt like like the anarchist in me like gave up and gave in, you know? So I still felt this weird thing, but I did feel also like, well, we don't know what the long-term side effects are of this vaccine, but we do know what the long-term side effects are of COVID. And some of them are fucking gnarly, like blood clots that could cause a stroke, lung damage, you know, heart issues developing due to the lung damage. I wonder if my friend who died, rest his soul, might have died from heart-related, oxygen-related. I'm sure they tested him for COVID and they would have told us if he had it when he died, but you know what I mean? It just makes you wonder, like, what if you had COVID and you recovered, but then later on your lungs don't work as well and your heart is strained? I met a woman at the Costa Rica retreat who had recently lost her husband at only 55 years old. And he was super healthy and athletic, and he was pushing his body really hard, and he was on his bike, like road biking or whatever, and he had a heart attack at 55. But he had no reason to have a heart attack. You know what I mean? He had no other reasons from what I spoke to her about. She's, you know, there was no like history of it or like heart problems or like cholesterol problems. But the guy, you know, he's gone now, and she's grieving him. And she said they had COVID early in the pandemic. They both got it. They quarantined. They recovered. But, you know, it made me wonder, and her too, I'm sure, like, did having COVID affect his body's ability to tolerate, you know, hardcore cardio, and did it weaken his heart? So all that stuff made me decide that getting the vaccine, it came down to this. The risk of getting this vaccine and the potential risk that there might be a side effect or a long-term future side effect from the vaccine. Is that a bigger risk for me personally than getting actual COVID is? For some people, it's not. For some people, they're like, I'd rather just get COVID, recover from it, and build my own natural immunity, which I respect that decision, that I understand it too. I don't necessarily think it's the right choice though. You know what I mean? Because the reason why this fucking virus hasn't gone away and been dealt with is because we didn't take it seriously. We didn't quarantine in the beginning. We didn't wear masks. We didn't be more careful. We kind of like did whatever we wanted because we're America. You know, we're the original gangster anarchists. We're like, fuck you, Britain. We're gonna go do our own country. It's like, we're a bunch of rebels. And I get that. And like, I don't think you should do anything you don't want to do, but I don't think you should not get the vaccine just because of principle. Just because, nope, I'm not gonna get it because I don't do things people tell me to do. Like, don't do it for that reason. If people that you know, love, and trust have gotten it and they're okay, let that be some proof in the pudding. If people that you know, love, and trust have gotten sick and or died, let that be proof that you could too. You never know what's going to happen. And I still don't know if the vaccine is going to have any further future, like I could be making a video in a couple of years that's like, hey man, I take back what I said. The vaccine has made all of us grow a third eye and now we all look fucking weird. Or some other kind of side effect or whatever. If that's the case, then we're all going to have to deal with that and cross that bridge when we come to it, aren't we? But people are getting vaccinated and they're okay. And there was a specific vaccine that had some side effects and they quit using that vaccine. You know what I mean? So like, oh, here's another thing. I talked to my buddy who's a biochemist and his woman is a fucking pediatrician. So these people are medical professionals. They work in this field. I'd already gotten the vaccine at this point, but we were having a conversation about him having an in-person party to celebrate his remission from fucking cancer that he just fought at like 39 years old. That's the same age as me. I was like, how did you get cancer? Anyway, during a pandemic with a new baby, this guy went through cancer treatment, like radiation, chemo, all that. And he fought and killed and eradicated this cancer, and now he's in remission and he's doing great. He let me know he wants to have a party. He wants to have everybody come hang out and, you know, keep it to a, 20 people, so not a huge party. But he wanted to have a party and that it was going to be a vaccine required party. And he was probably letting me know this because he didn't know if I had it or not and was like, get your vaccine, bitch, because I want to hang out with you. And I'm not going to hang out with you until you've had your second shot. And I want you to come to my party, so I'm going to give you a heads up so you can go get it now. And I was like, hey, I got the vaccine, but like I totally didn't want to before, and I understand. Like he was like, hey, this friend of ours is on the fence and doesn't want to get it, and some of the people that we know and love don't want to get the vaccine. So maybe if other people who do get the vaccine, maybe it'll help encourage them and like show them that it's okay. And like if we do a birthday party or some kind of event where we're like vaccinated only, maybe it'll help encourage these people that are on the fence that they can go ahead and get it so that we can all hang out with each other and be close and not be worrying about someone getting sick. So we had this lovely conversation, and I said to him, even though I'd already gotten it at this point because of the whole Costa Rica thing, I said, hey, when I found out that I could still get COVID or still be a carrier and pass it to someone else, that really pissed me off, because I said, why should I even bother getting a vaccine? Again, I don't like injecting things into my body. I don't trust big pharma. Like, I don't get the flu shot every year. Like, I never get the flu, knock on wood. I just don't, why would I like put this chemical thing in my body every year it doesn't make sense for me. So again, I was like, I didn't want to get it, but I did. But I want to know, like, what do I say to someone who's like, why would I get it if I could still get sick? Why would I get it if I could still pass it on? Then what's the point? So I spoke to him about it, got a whole bunch of great facts. Oh, we are still recording. Okay. But what he shared with me was that it's technically possible, to be vaccinated and still catch COVID and or pass it. Technically. He said, however, it's very unlikely, because when you get the vaccine, you now have the protein receptor built in your body. I did some research about this and learned about this and watched some videos about it to help me feel comfortable with this. I was like, what does this vaccine actually do in my body? If I can find the videos that I watched that helped me feel better about doing it, I will share them in the description below. So please watch those videos if you're on the fence about the vaccine or you know somebody who is, share this with them. The receptor, the protein receptor in your body, like okay, normal person, don't have the vaccine. You hang out with somebody who has COVID. you get some COVID virus in your body. Takes some time for it to, get to a level that you get sick symptoms. So like the virus is in your body, it's doing its thing, it's replicating, and by the time you're like fever and coughing and fucked up and going to the hospital, you're already got like a lot, it's like a lot more viral load in your, body. And now you're like having nasty symptoms and it sucks. And maybe you need medicine, maybe you need treatment, maybe you need oxygen. During that entire time though, even before your symptoms were bad, you could have passed it on to somebody else. Well, when you get the vaccine, these little DNA markers go in there and tell your body how to recognize the virus, so that now you've got like armor. So this doesn't mean you're 100% never going to get the virus. But if that virus enters your body, your bloodstream, whatever, your respiratory, these little army men that have been trained to see what it looks like and know what it looks like before it's fucking everywhere, they go and attack it. They go and go, oh, I know what that is. And they kick its ass. And they, either you have no symptoms at all, or you have very mild symptoms. So like you could get COVID and it can run its course without hospitalization or medicine or potentially death, right? So that's how it works. And what he was saying was that even if you have it or like someone else has it, if you're vaccinated, you're like the viral load would have to be high enough for it to attack you. And it would, again, you would have to have enough virus in you to spread it to someone else. So he was like, it's really slim. So like getting the vaccine is pretty awesome because you're probably not going to get it and you're probably not going to spread it to somebody else. Technically you could. Technically you could grow a third eye. Technically you could die tomorrow. But are we going to live based on a technicality? Or are we going to fucking be like, I'm not going to do it just because I don't do it? Just because I don't do stuff people tell me to do? And then here was the other big wake up for me. I realized something talking to my friend who's a medical professional and who had just survived cancer because of the modern technology and medical science. Like he said that he was like, I'm alive right now because of medical science. If I didn't do chemo and radiation and all this stuff, I might not have made it. Like I'm alive right now because of modern technology. So why are there so many people who don't trust science or modern technology? And I was like, hey man, I'm like pagan. I'm like super holistic. I'm the person who's like, oh, I'll take herbs, I'll take garlic, I'll take vitamin D. And he was like, yeah, there's all these holistic people that are like, I don't want the vaccine because it's not holistic. And he was like, but think about it. Getting sick from COVID isn't like good either. And building up this protection, like putting that RNA in your body so that your body can recognize the vaccine is like, in a way, the most holistic way to fight the virus, because you've built up your own resistance to it rather than relying on medical treatment after you get sick. But we had this really great chat, and I thought to myself, why didn't I call him earlier? Like, why didn't I talk to him months ago? Why didn't I tell him, I'm on the fence about the vaccine, I'm paranoid, can you tell me about this? He would have loved to tell me. Like, I had this wonderful chat with him, and he's so knowledgeable. So I also want to really, 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 really encourage you, if you're on the fence, to talk to your friends who are nurses, who are doctors, who are medical professionals, who are, research chemists or biologists or work in a lab, and scientists. Like, talk to them about it. Yeah. And when it came down to it, I was like, if I believe that the government has some secret plan to like make this virus just as a way to cut down the population a little bit and make us all get this injection so that we all become, do whatever they say and whatever the fuck, I don't know. Then if I believe that thought, then I'm as crazy as these QAnon people, like if I believe that that's actually my reason to not get the virus or the vaccine, then like I'm believing some really batshit stuff. So like, do I want to be like those people? And again, who makes money off of it? Who benefits from it? This was a big wake up for me too, is I thought, wait a minute. yeah, the medical system, you know, there's money in like getting testing and stuff, but it's free for you. It was free for me. Even with insurance, without insurance, you can get the vaccine for free. You don't have to pay for it. So I don't know like who paid the people to make the vaccine and who's going to pay for the vaccine and who's going to eat that cost. But if it's the bastards in the medical top of the pyramid, the ones who make all the money off of everybody, if it's the people, if it's the insurance company, good. They should have some freaking costs. They should pay for it. But it's like, nobody's getting rich off of you getting the vaccine. Maybe somebody is. If you know the answer to that, let me know. Share a video about it, okay? I'll watch it. But what I was thinking of was like the people who made this vaccine, the doctors, the scientists, the chemists, the biologists, the people who've been working tirelessly for 12 months, 14 months on creating a vaccine. From day one, they've been trying to create a vaccine for this because this thing's been knocking people out worldwide. People are dying. Lots of people. I'm over here in the health field because I care about helping people be healthy, but I'm not in the medical field because I don't want to watch people die. That's rough. I'm not sure I could handle being in a job where people's life is in my hands and watching people die. So something occurred to me, which was that the medical professionals that are making this vaccine, that are trying to figure out a cure for this illness, that are trying to eradicate this virus from this planet, at least as best as they can, so that we can hopefully go back to normal life at some point and share hugs and love and kisses without masks and travel and enjoy life again. They're not the fucking government. They're not the political douche. They're not some Bill Gates or, rich guy, Twitter, they're not some fucking Tesla dude. Like, that's not the guy in the lab building, making, creating. The medical professionals who have been working on this vaccine from the beginning are the doctors and the nurses and the biologists and the researchers and they're the people who have been watching people die. They're the people who have been shoving tubes down people's throats to give them oxygen. They're the people that have been watching people die sad and alone because their family can't come fucking see them in the hospital. So, the people who have been working on this cure and this vaccine and all this shit are the people who care the most about saving human lives. Not anybody trying to control your mind or, turn you, change you, or infiltrate your DNA with their fucking, mind control. Who knows, okay? So, let's get real. Let's look at the facts. Let's do some research. Let's figure it out for ourselves, weighing the risks. And I'll say one more thing. I did talk to some people who were in the medical field, like nurses, or a woman, for example, who she's a X-ray technician. So she works in a hospital. She's got to wear a mask all the time. She probably has to see patients sometimes that have COVID. And she said, I'm not getting the vaccine. And I'm like, really? You're the first medical professional who doesn't want it. Can you tell me why? And she's like, I read the fine print. And I'm like, oh, really? She's like, a lot of side effects, a lot of potential side effects. Read the fine print. And I go, okay, I will. Well, I don't know where you can find the fine print on the vaccines, but she said that in the fine print that she read, that it stated that it could potentially cause reproductive harm, meaning it could make it where she couldn't have kids. And so she doesn't want the vaccine. You know what? That makes sense to me. I don't want to have kids. So that's not a problem for me. That sucks that there's something in there that could fuck with your, reproductive system. But I don't want to get a blood clot in my leg and die of a stroke because I've got a massage. That's what I don't want. So just saying, if you choose not to do it, that's okay. I still respect you and I don't think you're crazy. But don't not get it because of crazy ass shit like what I've shared at length in this video. And don't be scared to get it. Like, don't think you're gonna get it and like suddenly die, because that's very unlikely, even though it's possible. It's gonna be okay, and things are getting better, and things are opening up, and the numbers are dropping. So people getting vaccinated is working. And last but not least, it's feeling really good to be social again. And even though I know it's not 100%, and I still could get it, and I still could be a carrier, and I'm thinking about that and thinking, even though I'm vaccinated, maybe I'll start getting tested every so often, because tests are free and easy to get. And like before I go like on a trip with some friends, or before I go on a camp out, or before I go to an event, or maybe after I go to an event where I'm around a lot of people, maybe I'll just get a test. So with all that considered, just know that it feels really good to hug people and be close to people, and to be less worried about potentially them dying from something that you have, or you dying from something that they have. So I hope this helps you make a decision if you haven't already. And the best thing, the absolute best thing about getting the vaccine is that you can play the Vaccinated song by Mark Rebier. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. Have a beautiful day. Go get the fucking vaccine so that we can please move forward and have less fear and pressure. And, you know, that's another thing too. For all of you conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers out there, I used to be one of you, but I have been reformed. Because am I gonna let the fear of the vaccine control me? Am I gonna let the fear of the vaccine dictate my life and what I do with my body, and potentially put me at risk of severe, irrevocable, long-term physical harm because I just didn't want to get the shot? So think about that. Make your own decision. I love you. Hope this video gives you more, you know, some more, I hope you like this video. And if you did, please share it, like it, and subscribe. I appreciate your time. Have a beautiful day.